Okay, so here we are with match 2 of our Modern League with the post-ban Hogaak Vine deck. Guess we'll get our graveyard out, given that that's going to be relevant again. So this is our opening hand. Yeah, I don't think it's too bad. So I suppose we can go Faithless Looting, pitch the Grave Crawlers, potentially. See where we go from there. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. It's not going to be the fastest Hogaak in the world, for sure. So there's a Bloodghast. So we can actually go... I don't know if we want to lead with looting or we want to lead with just a creature. I think leading with looting is probably correct. And we can get Bloodghast into the graveyard and turn it and return it next turn. Okay. So let's get Blood Crypt. Looting. And we don't know what our opponent's doing just yet. Okay, so that changes things a bit. So I guess we just want to pitch Vengevine and Bloodghast into the graveyard. I'm going to cast 2 creatures next turn, get back Vengevine. Probably Stitch's Supplier into Carrion Feeder, I guess. I mean, I probably might have Surgical or something, we never know. Blitzrand could indicate a lot of things, I suppose, but I always assume it's going to be blue-white control. But it could be like Ad Nauseam or something. Or it could be something completely different because it's just a fetch land. They fetched up Steam Vents, which makes it more likely that there's some sort of Storm. Izzet Phoenix, I suppose, are probably the most prominent blue-red decks. Certainly the Spybluff Canal indicates that that's the way we're going. Thing in the Ice leads me to believe that they are Izzet Phoenix. So how do we match up against this? I've never actually played this matchup, so this will be interesting. So I'm pretty confident we can cast the Hogaak. We can definitely get Vengevine back. I think we lead with Stitch's Supplier before our land drop to see if we can get another Bloodghast into the graveyard. I mean, we might be running into a Surgical, I guess. So we had to get a Hogaak into the graveyard. So if we play our fetch land first... I suppose we could just play a normal land, given that we've got a load of cards in the graveyard already. Yeah, let's do that so we can get Bloodghast back potentially a few more times. We'll see if this prompts them into destroying our graveyard. It doesn't. So now we can play a Carrion Feeder, get back Vengevine. And does that prompt a response from our opponent? Yeah, here comes Surgical, targeting the Vengevine. Okay, so that's fine, I guess. I mean, there's a good chance this Thing in the Ice flips, and then I'm not entirely sure where that leaves us, necessarily. And will we end up regretting not playing the fetch here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Oh no, because we're playing the Carrion Feeder, so we can still do it, but we do have to empty our whole graveyard out in order to do so, which still seems worth it to me, I think. Let's cast Hogaak. I guess we can keep going. We can Stitch's Supplier. Sack the Stitch's Supplier. See if we can get 3 more cards into our graveyard. Do we want to do that now? No, I think we'll leave it. Let's see what our opponent has. I suppose if they flip the Thing in the Ice, that's obviously not going to be end well, particularly well for us. Obviously there's a good chance that they are able to do that. In which case I think we sack the Bloodghast, sack the Stitches Supplier, and see if we can get a bunch of cards into the graveyard, I guess. And see if we can rebuild. Do you think we're in a good position to rebuild, I think? Post Thing in the Ice flip. Maybe we should have left the Hogaak in the graveyard, because it's probably better off there than it is in our hand. It's a real consideration. And we should have played this Hogaak in hand instead, just so we got more graveyard fodder. Gonna be able to play out 3 creatures next turn, at the very least. I'm going to sack the Bloodghast before the Thing in the Ice flips. So we'll have 4 creatures and at least... Actually, no, we're going to have to sack the Stitches Supply, but we can still play 3 creatures. So that'll put 4 cards in the graveyard. So very, I think, it'll be pretty easy to get Hogaak back next turn. Okay, so our opponent's not going to do anything. Interesting. I guess they want to flip on our turn, I suppose that makes sense. What can we do? Is there anything that we can do that changes this situation? It doesn't feel like there is a lot, like it's not really worth flowing out a bunch of creatures to get bounced back to hand. We just attack and see if our opponent flips a response, and then we can rebuild post-combat. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm not really familiar with this matchup and how it plays out, so I'm not really sure what the best thing to do is. But if they just take 8 from Hogaak, then I think that'll put us in a nice position. So about the Bloodghast, I guess we just sack it. I mean, we're always going to sack Bloodghast anyway. Lightning Bolt on the Carrion Feeder. Interesting. Okay, so we can't really save it, so do we sack the Stitches Supplier is the question, just to get the extra cards in the graveyard? Or are we playing into a Ravenous Trap or something? I think they'll play main deck Ravenous Trap, that seems unlikely. I don't know, if they bounce Stitches Supply back to hand, that's not the end of the world. I think we just let this happen. I mean, obviously we can't sack it, but it's going to put 3 cards back into the graveyard. So that seems still pretty good in this scenario. So we're going to deal 9 damage. And I guess we play out this land. We play those Grave Crawlers as well. I don't think there's any harm in doing so. So Gravecrawler, Gravecrawler. Blood Crypt. Get back Bloodghast, if our opponent allows us to. Yep, and pass the turn. So is our opponent going to be able to set up a crazy turn where they just absolutely obliterate us? I don't know. I still feel like we're in pretty good position at the moment, but what's this going to be? Snapcaster Bolt or Snapcaster Surgical? I guess it's going to have to be Snapcaster Bolt. So Snapcaster Bolt, flip, hit us for 7. I guess this is going to the dome, right? That makes sense. Yeah. So they do that. We can get Hogaak back, so we've got a blocker for the Awoken Horror, but obviously we're going down to 7, and who knows what's in their hand. And they've got Snapcaster as well. But they are only on 8, and it's possible that we can find Vengevine. Vengevine. I don't know why I said it like that. Or several Bloodghasts, I guess, which would also do the trick. So Stitch's Supplier does not find Vengevine. I mean, we've always got chumps for the Awoken Horror as well. So yeah, I don't think Awoken Horror is going to kill us. So yeah, I guess Stitch's Supplier again. And no, we didn't find anything relevant. We can cast this Bloodghast, but it's at the cost of using this Marsh Flats, which seems bad. We can cast Hogaak, which seems good. I guess we cast a Gravecrawler as well. I don't think we want to play this land necessarily. Yeah, I mean, being at 7 is certainly a lot better than being at 6 in this situation. So I guess we just play out our cards. Let's tap those 2. Wait, actually no. I'm going to tap the Gravecrawler, because there might be a scenario in which it's able to block. And let's pass like that and see if we're dead. There's no Phoenixes in the graveyard at the moment, but obviously we're only a Faithless Looting away from that happening. So this could be interesting. Not sure what the best sideboard plan is against Phoenix either. I suppose you want Leyline, but they've still got Aerial Flame, which can beat us up. So maybe we just bring in Thoughtseize and try and steal away their threats. Thinking Eye certainly seems good against us. Interesting to see if they can beat us from here. I mean, they really only need a surgical, Faithless Looting, sorry, and then we're in pretty bad shape. Because Faithless Looting into Phoenix. I don't know. It really depends, doesn't it? I mean, certainly them not having cast Faithless Looting yet is good for us. Seems like they are having to at least dig somewhat deeper into the deck. So we certainly could be in a position where we're okay here, but I think a lot of cantrips going by, and if this last one is Faithless Looting, then I don't feel good about our position. So is Faithless Looting, have they got 2 Phoenixes to drop in the bin? I suppose 2 Phoenixes is not enough in and of itself. Binning lands is definitely good for us. Okay. So can we win here? I guess we can't directly win. Second Bloodghast, so Opponent takes nothing from the Hogaak. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's lethal. I guess they could have gut shot, but I think that's okay. I think that's fine. Okay. So yeah, cast 2 gut 2 and then 2 force. Yeah, so then we have exactly lethal. Yeah, I say I don't like going down to 6, but I suppose in this scenario they have to have gut shot for one of our guys to stay alive. And then I suppose if they have 2 bolts, then we are just dead, but I think we need to force the play rather than just give them another turn. Opponent is tanking for something. Maybe just trying to figure out what our play is going to be. But yeah, I think trying to force lethal here seems like a logical play. Send everyone. Got to block the Hogaak. Yeah. Okay, so that wraps up game 1. So now we move to sideboarded games. Okay, so sideboard games, I mean, they could be running various packages. I think most Izzet Phoenix decks run Ravenous Trap over ley lines, but they might be running ley lines as well. It's kind of tricky. I don't know what the best way to do this is, or what the cards we want to be cutting are. I don't think we want Claim Fame. I think that seems like a card that can very easily be cut. Lightning Axe is a way to answer Thing in the Ice, so I suppose that stays good, given that that's probably the most problematic card. I think Thoughtseize seems like an idea. Obviously we don't want to be losing too much life, but at the same time I think picking out cards that are going to be problematic for us seems good, particularly cards like Ravenous Trap. Could be good. We can play around Ravenous Trap to some extent as well. Do we want to bring Fatal Pushes in as answers to things? I don't think we want to change up our strategy too much. I suppose getting rid of Izzet Phoenix, I mean the Arclight Phoenix isn't very good, like killing those isn't very good, so it's really only Thing in the Ice that's the main concern, and we've got 3 Lightning Axes in the deck. Leyline doesn't seem worth the effort. I think we'll bring in Thoughtseizes and keep everything else the same, but I could be very wrong. And I might bring in an Assassin's Trophy as a way to deal with Aria Flame and any potential hate cards. And maybe we cut a Thug here. And a Wayfinder. And I'm going to cut Thugs, I think. I don't know whether that's right or not. I'm very unsure about how this sideboarding should go. Thoughtseize seems good though, as a way of just disrupting their hand. So let's see how we get on with this. So happy to have won game 1. And yeah, obviously we've got to anticipate that our opponent is going to have some amount of graveyard hate coming in. We've already seen a main deck Surgical, so we've got those to contend with as well. But it didn't do too much damage to his last game. And if they're not running ley lines, that'll be interesting. So it's kind of tricky when you're not sure what your opponent's sideboard hate is, because it really could be anything, and it could be ley lines for sure. In which case we've probably sideboarded fairly badly because we haven't brought in the answers. And Thoughtseize obviously isn't a good answer to Leyline because it's already going to be in play from our opponent's opening hand. So, I suppose we've taken a few risks. This hand seems fine as long as they don't have some egregious graveyard hate, which they very well could. But I think we can slow burn this. I'm going to keep this. We'll see how we get on. This sounds pretty good in any other context. And I suppose we can hold back a Stitches Supplier to keep the graveyard nice and healthy. Lightning Axe is a nice answer to Thing in the Ice, as I've said before. No Leyline, so that's good news. My opponent's going to lead with Serum Visions, which is fine. Is looting. I think we're better off just running out the Stitches supply though. And we can hold back with Delta to put more cards into the graveyard. I mean, every Stitches supply is going to activate Ravenous Trap. I'm going to lead like this, but I could certainly see playing the Delta instead. Hogaak Bloodghast. Okay. It's not a bad set of cards. There's Thing in the Ice, which is fine here because we do have the answer. Is there any way we can play our cards so we don't get Ravenous trapped? I don't think so. We can't do anything about them Ravenous trapping us, really. I think lead with a land so we can get the Bloodghast before they Ravenous trap us. That could be a basic, I suppose. I think we lead with a Delta, see if they let us get this Bloodghast back, or whether they're going to be Surgiclears, because that could be very relevant. No, so we're going to get the Bloodghast back, so that is a good start. I think we want to Lightning Axe this guy and put Golgari Thug into the graveyard. Maybe we should have led with Karen Feeder actually. So see how they respond to that. And I suppose it's interesting. They might have Force Negation, I suppose. They might be able to protect themselves from this Lightning Axe. Should be interesting. I think we're generally in a good position. It kind of depends whether we should or should not be playing around Ravenous Trap. But I think maybe we just go for it here. So let's run out Carrion Feeder, and maybe we should play that in a different order. Sequencing is very important for this deck, and I'm not sure I nailed the sequencing here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we can actually cast Hogaak already. That might just make more sense. 2, 3, 4. And then we don't open ourselves up to Ravenous Trap or anything. Yeah, that seems really good. And we did sacrifice quite a bit there in terms of valuable cards. I suppose not a lot. We sacrificed our Golgari Thug, which obviously could have refilled our graveyard repeatedly. So maybe we should have discarded a different card there or something, but yeah, obviously the alternative option there is to sack the Stitches Supplier to the Carrion Feeder and refill the graveyard even further and then keep going, but I think given our current position, which is really good, it'd be really bad to just get run over by a Ravenous Trap. So I think playing around the potential graveyard hate seems pretty good. And we've killed a thing in the ice, which certainly seems very good for us as well. Guess our opponent can have another one, but it seems like we're probably going to get a good swing in here as well. No Phoenixes in the yard just yet. Still no Phoenixes in the yard, so our opponent is not getting terribly lucky. And it's not swinging back at us. And yeah, we've got Hogaak on board and quite a few good cards to boot. I guess we just swing here. We can lead with Thoughtseize, play Stitches, see what they're working with, Stitches Supplier, and then attack. Yeah, that makes more sense, I think. Let's Thoughtseize. So I have Lightning Bolt, Larvitar, Opt, and Aria Flame. I guess we just pitch Aria Flame, that seems like the most dangerous card. I don't know if I care about anything else. I suppose we could get rid of Opt instead. Because if they spend a turn Aria Flaming us... Yeah, maybe Opt is just the card to get rid of. It's certainly Opt or Aria Flame, I think. Yeah, maybe we just get rid of Opt and they just don't draw a card. I feel pretty good about our position here. So, yeah, they don't have any hate. So I guess we'll play the Stitches Supplier and see if we can make this attack even better. I'm just going to sack it to see if we can get any deeper. So we did get deeper, we don't have another card, a creature to activate the Hogaaks. Oh, I suppose if we sack Hogaak here, do we have enough cards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we can sack Hogaak, recast Hogaak. That makes sense. We could have done that better, but well, with tapping fewer creatures. This is where we're getting for 8 now. Our opponent seems pretty dead. Play their island. Can cast Aria Flame, I guess, but that doesn't seem to do a lot. And yes, we managed to pick up the win. I think we can just sequence that last bit a little bit better because we could have potentially attacked with the Carrion Feeder there. Also, we could probably get an extra point of damage if we sacked the Bloodghast and played our land. And there's no reason not to do that in the circumstances, so yeah, I think we could have... Yeah. But I don't think it's... I mean, it's not relevant, I don't think, because I think we were in really good position and we were going to win, but yeah, if we want to play fully optimally, I think we should have probably tapped the Bloodghast and the Stitches Supplier, or maybe we could have... I suppose yeah, it depends if we want to keep this looting in the graveyard, and maybe that's not even relevant at this point. We could have attacked for slightly more. I mean, it's not going to be lethal, and we definitely got to have lethal next turn, so I think after seeing our opponent's hand, we were in the clear to go ahead, and yeah, we managed to pick up the win here. A pretty decisive win as well. Things didn't go terribly well for our opponent, though, in fairness, and yeah, we managed to get a nice win against Izzet Phoenix.